Welcome back. On today's episode, Erwin believes that this Earth is fucked. Hopefully, we got another one coming. Also, woo! Science be praised. So, we got some crazy conspiracy theorists around here. God dang New Agers with some crazy ideas. Let's learn more. So, we're starting with what the New Agers believe. We need a new term for them. The spiritual truth community. The solar flash event. David Wilcock definitely pushes this a lot. He's actually got a lot of really good information about this. He also thought it was going to happen in 2012. Some of you may have noticed it did not. It did not happen. So take it with a grain of salt. But we finally have some signs that things are getting weird. So let's start with the outlandish, and let's add a little evidence on there at the end. The coming solar flash event is the Rapture, or Soul Harvest, or Armageddon, or Judgment Day, or Samvartika fire that all religions have talked about. Yeah, every religion says we're going to have some new world, some new age. It's going to be heaven on earth. Sounds great because currently it's pretty hell on earth. So sounds good. Let's get into it. Destined to happen sometime during the next decade. Let's see, I've got maybe another 50 years left in me. Will it be by the time I die? Probably. But anyone putting dates on things, sorry, you're pretty much destined to be wrong. Such as all the people that thought something was going to happen in 2012. I think 2012 was important. It was a turning point. But with a lot of these cycles, even the physical cycles, there's usually like a buffer period of upwards of even like 100 years. So, yeah, there's going to be a little bit of buffer so we can, do our change. As much as we like the sun to just explode in a flash of light and change everything. It seems about as likely as QAnon arresting the globalists. So, but it's interesting, and we actually got some decent evidence for it now. The next decade, once a sufficient mass of humanity has awakened and breached a critical threshold and level of consciousness. Well, according to some, it's just going to happen. And then those of us who are ready for it will go. Things often change. The plans keep changing, especially with us. So maybe it was just going to change, and those who are ready were going to be taken to this new earth. But maybe now, we have enough people. We woke up enough people. But even like in the early 2000s, they're like, yeah, it's not going to be the majority of people who make it. So did we really change that much? It doesn't super feel like it. Maybe, though. And then some say we have to, be pretty legit embracing this. Others say you just have to be at least, over half good. It'll appear on Earth as milky, warm liquid. Oh, wait. A massive burst of cosmic waves will be transmitted from the central sun, the center of our galaxy, through our sun. So that's very up for debate. Could it be the great central sun doing it? I would argue that God, the great central sun, is connected to all the suns. Sorry for the Karen hair. I need to speak with your manager. Let him know I'm a scientist. Show me the proper respect. Doctor! Shall call me Dr. Lieutenant Colonel Venman. Thank you. So they say massive burst of cosmic waves transmitted from the central sun through our sun. It could just be our sun, but our sun's connected to a bunch of other stuff. A lot of people believe that we're in a photon belt, basically a wave of a bunch of highly energetic particles and stuff like that, which when it comes into contact with our sun, obviously, it's going to cause changes in our sun. Changes in our sun causes changes in our planet and us. So who knows what's going to cause it? Certainly not us. It'll appear on Earth as milky, warm, liquid light. That sounds really, really ridiculous. That's what the last half of this video is about, though. Humans that are already spiritually / energetically will experience near instant evolution. Book I was just reading is like, we're basically literally just going to step through a doorway. A lot of us won't even notice at first, and then we'll just be changed. Maybe we're put in some sort of stasis. Maybe the aliens have to physically come down and put us into ships, which, according to many people's past lives, have happened on this planet and other planets many times before. I don't think we're going to all be allowed to be destroyed. We got Noah's Ark to prove that. At the least, some of us will survive. The seed will survive. Are aliens going to take us up in spaceships while this happens? And then, since time doesn't really exist for them, maybe we stay up there for what feels like a few days, but really is like 1,000 years, and then we come back? Or is it a brand new, like, fifth dimensional world? A lot of different theories. And if you think it's one exact theory that's going to happen, I'm sorry, you're probably wrong. Near instant evolution and transmutation of 2-strand double helix DNA carbon-based life form into crystalline life form having a light body with multiple DNA strands. So, going from carbon-based to silicon-based, yes, I get it. Crystals and all that. As a scientist, crystals are evil. Global warming is real. Man-made. Yeah, I get that. That would make sense. Definitely, if we're going into a higher dimension, our DNA is definitely going to have to be changing. A lot of people suggest that's what's been happening, either through the sun, aliens, angels, that sort of thing, as well as just us evolving and growing and meditating, doing it as well. Yes, my fries were cold. I'm going to need to speak with your manager. Yes. I'm going to need to put it under the global warming. So we have 2 DNA strands. The rest are disconnected, and then we've got a bunch of junk DNA. Scientists know everything, okay? We understand everything. I mean, we still don't understand dreams. We barely understand the depths of our oceans or space or really much of anything. Do we even know how viruses work? Junk DNA. There's just a bunch of DNA coding there for nothing. Science be praised. And we shall then ascend to 5th dimensional Earth in our physical bodies. And if we're going to the 5th dimensional Earth, they're probably more light bodies than physical bodies. Also, so we're 3rd dimensional and we're skipping to 5th dimensional. I'd wondered about that. Wouldn't it be a 4th dimensional Earth that we're going to? Right? Like a book I was just reading, they're like, nah, it's 5th dimensional. We're going to just skip the 4th dimension. And then a few of them are saying, yeah, everybody, like the whole planet's going to evolve at once. That's the first planet to ever do that. What? I feel like other species and planets would have done that. So I don't know. Maybe this is special. Maybe we're getting something unique. Who knows? So if you think something specific is going to happen exactly this way, guess what? You're probably wrong. This is the first time such an experiment is being conducted in the known history of our galaxy. Yes, obviously he's being told that as well. This is not a destructive doomsday event, but a peaceful one. Well, except for all the bad guys. Some say that's the majority of people on the planet. Some say it's not. I'm certainly not one of those people who's going to be like, I'm going up to the new earth. Jesus is going to rapture me. You're going to stay here, you dirty heathens. Yeah, no. I don't know. All I know is I'm prepare myself, do some reading, do some meditating. Who knows? Maybe we already missed the point. Maybe the new earth already exists. All the people who are going to go there are already there. And all of us failed. Maybe we're already doomed. Who knows? Who knows? I'm more optimistic than that, though. Yes, it's not a destructive doomsday event, except for those who aren't prepared for it. All that is required is an intent to forgive everyone, intent to overcome one's addictions and attachments. Basically, get rid of your karma. Realize there's a bigger God. Maybe don't flip off everyone who cuts you off, even though they really, really deserve it. And some people just really need flipped off. I know. I'm very aware. Is someone talking about global warming? Global warming is going to bring the new Earth. Give me trillions of dollars. Girl, it's getting colder. Susan, I'm calling up Susan. Susan, he's lying. We need authoritative sources. Girl, you're trying to get me banned? I'm already banned on my other channel. At least 51% of one's thoughts, feelings, and actions should be of service to other orientation. So that comes straight out of some Book of Raw, David Wilcock action right there. These are the ones that say you only have to be half good. And the interesting thing is they actually say that for the bad to evolve to the next dimension, you have to be like 95% bad. So we only have to be like half good. The bad has to be really bad to get to the next bad level. Wonder why the New World Order is being so incredibly evil right now. Harboring a desire for the well-being of fellow humans. Sounds easy, right? You motherfucker, cut me up! I'll fucking kill you! It's easy. It's really easy. At least that's what we think before we incarnate. We're like, it'll be fine. It'll be easy. And then we get here and we're like, why does everything hurt? Truthfulness and integrity of thoughts, feelings, and actions. You need to figure out when to capitalize things and when not to. Like, did the church write this? Just normal capitalize things, people. Those of you who are of the capitalized dark / capitalized service to capitalized self, capitalized orientation will capitalized perish in the capitalized flash. And these souls will then be taken by the Logos, God, whatever, to another planetary setting to further continue their lessons towards integration and balance. Basically, the bad guys aren't going to be able to exist on the new Earth. The old Earth is probably going to be destroyed. By global warming? No. Well, it's going to be some very, very global warming, but more like, yeah, a solar flash that burns and destroys everything, which apparently would not be the first time that's happened, even on Earth. Allegedly. So that's what my people are thinking. What a bunch of crazies. Now let's see what the Christians think. Oh, exactly that sort of thing? Weird. It's in all religions? Weird. That's when I start believing stuff. Don't get into specifics. That's when you get wrong. Don't get into dates and prophecies. That's where you go wrong. But when all of the cultures are saying something, and all the new channelings and stuff like that are saying something, they're all on pretty much the same page, that's when I'm like, all right, there's probably something there. The specifics of it, I mean, until we're fifth dimensional beings, I don't super fully trust any channelings. Any channelings are going to be distorted by the human mind, trying to translate nearly untranslatable concepts to us. Such as revelations. And it's like, I don't 100% believe all the channelings now. In the past, we were just as blocked. It was just as filtered through our consciousness. So just because Revelation says something doesn't mean it's absolute fact and the stuff being said now isn't. It's just as wrong as the stuff is now. But there's something there. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. This is from Revelations. Revelation. Like, why do I think there's an S there? For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. So, old world gonna be sticking around? No, probably not. As I say in the video I'm currently working on, the old world is gone. Oh, let's get my pretty face back up here. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem. I'm assuming this is probably New Earth is what he's talking about. For a while, he explains the dimensions of this New Jerusalem. It has dimensions. So at first I thought, spaceship? Like they describe Earth's dimensions. To me, that says spaceship. Maybe they're talking New Earth, and then a lot of this stuff is definitely more metaphorical near the bottom. So who knows? But New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, basically, people believe that we can create at higher levels, but then it takes a bit of work to bring that down to the lower level where it becomes physical. Angelic beings can just create things just through intention and thought. We can, but then we have to bring that creation, that thought, that intent down to our level and make it physical. Hence why the Satanists do elaborate rituals and stuff like that. A lot of different ways to bring it down to us. I just like praying, visualizing. Don't have to murder any children. It's pretty great. So coming down from God out of heaven, though it'd probably be more us raising up to heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Wait, we about to fuck this new earth? Woo, science be praised. Let's fuck this new earth. Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men, and he will dwell with them. I think that's less like God's going to come like chill. I don't think God's going to like play like pickup football games with us. We get in an argument, so God's just quarterback for both sides, throws those perfect spirals. I don't think that's what it means. I think it means we are actually going to be connected to God. And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Karen Hare, I want you to speak with the manager of whoever made this wig. So there's something that all these agree on. New World is going to be beautiful and perfect. No badness allowed. All the bad people are going to burn away, essentially, and go to some new place where they can keep reincarnating and having their fun karma. Maybe there's something to it. God is the Alpha and the Omega. He really wants us to know that. He's very concerned that we know about how powerful he is. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers, whores, and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars. I've never lied. Shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Fire and brimstone. This old world is going to be destroyed by fire and brimstone, huh? Wonder if any other cultures believe something similar. Oh, they do. Then basically they describe this New Jerusalem descending out of heaven from God. It's got a lot of crystals. The Jews love their precious stones, so there's tons of those. The 12 tribes of Israel. Apparently only the Jews are getting in. They're very elitist. They don't like the rest of us. And the city had no need of the sun, neither of the moon, to shine in it. For the glory of God did lighten it, and the Lamb is the light thereof. Yeah, it sounds like some nonsense, but if we look at newer stuff, what are people saying? Put that on the back burner. And they shall see his face, and his name shall be in their foreheads. God's got names, which we can pronounce. It's connected to numbers and stuff, gematria, whatever the Jews call it. His name shall be in their foreheads. Oh, there are foreheads? Right where our third eye is? One of the places we're most connected to that sort of stuff. The crown, that connects us to like God and the source, but like our psychic stuff is usually third eye related. And honestly, I think it all still comes from the third eye. One is, yeah. Name shall be in their foreheads. I believe Yeah, we will be psychic and such. And there shall be no night there, and they need no candle, neither light of the sun, for the Lord giveth them light. So what's up with this? We don't need lights. They seem very concerned about letting us know we won't need lights on this new earth. Well, what do others tell us? Well, higher dimensional beings shine with their own light. Oh, that's what they said in the new stuff, and we have all the old stuff with Jesus shining with light and halos and Tibetan rainbow bodies and stuff like that. Maybe do we glow with our own light so we don't need light anywhere? Probably. Also, people who go into like underground, like where underground alien cities on Earth and stuff, they all say there's no light source, but everything is beautifully lit. Occasionally, maybe some of them will have like a fake little micro sun up in the sky. But for the most part, there's lights everywhere, but no light sources. So I think that might be what they're talking about. Continue. More Christianity from Luke. In that day, he that shall be upon the housetop, and his goods in the house, let him not come down to take them away. So we don't need our possessions. And he that is in the field, let him likewise not return back to the old world. Remember Lot's wife. Don't look back at the evil. Go forward into the new earth. So I was just reading this. We need to think less about how our world is being destroyed and think more about the positives of the new earth. The more we think of the positive, the better. The more we're consumed with all this negative, which is why I'm supposed to be talking politics right now. I don't want to talk about black crime. I don't want to talk about average IQs. I want to talk about this. That sort of thing, apparently good. Whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. So I think what that is actually saying is if you're all consumed in the third dimension and material possessions, you're like, no, I can't leave all this stuff. All right, you can have all your stuff. Have fun continuing to reincarnate. But if you're like, yeah, I get it. These possessions aren't me. Life shall preserve. I tell you, in that night there shall be 2 men in one bed. Ooh. Did I hear homosexuals? Yes, you did. The one shall be taken, and the other shall be left. 2 women shall be grinding together. Did I hear more homosexuality? Yes, you did. You did. The one shall be taken, and the other left. 2 men shall be in the field, fucking. The one shall be taken, and the other left. So we're wondering, really? Really? Right outside the window. Oh my God. Bless it. Positives. Even louder now. I thought all the lawn work was done when I was trying to sleep. So apparently, according to Luke, it's going to be like half and half. So who knows? But this was a long time ago. Maybe we've changed things. Always keep in mind that we've changed things. Honestly, I think originally we probably were supposed to be destroyed. We were supposed to go through another apocalypse. We failed. But thanks to all the people in the 80s coming in, mostly probably angels and aliens incarnating, because the humans, which could include me, who have been here a long time, just going, constantly doing the cycles, never learning their lessons, they're not solving this problem. They failed. Everyone who came in and incarnated here, pushed all the awesome New Age stuff in the 80s, I think they might have saved us from the apocalypse. But maybe we unsaved ourselves again. Who knows? But honestly, I think the angels and aliens and such have put so much damn work into this place. I think they're going to do everything they can, everything they're allowed to with free will to get us from destroying ourselves and to bring us into this new earth. Whether that new earth be here, another dimension, who knows what. Okay, we need to take a little pause. Enjoy Susan for a second while I fix my camera. Yeah, just go ahead and listen to that freaking weed eater too while we're at it. Okay, now do. And then I go, boo. And then I go, shit, no, wait, fuck. Positive, no. And then I got to go here, and then I go here. And, if my camera would just stay open for more than 30 seconds, I wouldn't have this freaking problem. Okay. And we're back. The rapture. Oh. Well, no, I don't. That's the timing of it all. Wait, did I already? No. Where are my highlights? Did I highlight for nothing? So the rapture. Christians just can't. Oh, are you kidding me? Raptures cannot agree. Wait, where's futurism? Oh, wait, that's the next part. The rapture. Sorry, I just researched all this right before. Concept of a minority of Christians. Evil Christians! Particularly among the evangelists. Consisting of an end-time event when all Christian believers who are alive, along with resurrected believers, will rise in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. And what else is going to be happening around that time? Oh, the Great Tribulation. Pre-tribulationists believe that all righteous Christians, dead and alive, will be taken bodily up to heaven before the tribulation begins. According to this belief, every true Christian that has ever existed throughout the course of the entire Christian era will be instantaneously transformed into a perfect resurrected body. Okay, you sounded pretty new agey here, guys. And will thus escape the trials of the tribulation, which one could certainly argue we are in now. Those who become Christians after the rapture will live through or perish during the tribulation. After the tribulation, Christ will return to establish his millennial kingdom. Yeah, millennials shall inherit the earth, baby. Blue hair for everyone. Post-tribulationists believe that Christians will not be taken up into heaven for eternity, but will be received or gathered in the air by Christ. Taken up into spaceships? To descend together to establish the kingdom of heaven on earth at the end of the tribulation. So we're going to be taken up into spaceships. We're going to wait for all the badness to happen. And once that's all gone, we're clear to land again. We're going to come back and establish the kingdom of God. That's kind of what it sounded like, guys. Well, that's crazy Christians. Well, let's look at the Hindus. This sort of stuff's in every single culture and religion. In the works of Garga, an influential Vedic sage in ancient India, Samvartika is described as a devastating, energetic force that will arrive as one of two comets. In the sage's words, like the stellar wheel rotating in the sky. Sounds like some cycles to me. The comet wheel also repeats in the sky. Yep. We don't just have one or two cycles coming to a point here. It's not just the fourth turning. We have like literally all of the cycles are ending and starting again. Either already hit that time or some are about to hit that time. Like I said, there's usually some breathing room. So anyone says something's going to happen exactly at such and such time, yeah, no. There's always breathing room for these cycles. At the end of 1,000 years, at the end of the comet strand, yeah, 1,000-year cycles are very much so real. Fourth turning is a 100-year cycle, so 10 turnings, you got another bigger cycle. At the end of the comet strand, two comets, Duma and Samvartika, appear together. Garga writes that these twin comets will cause earthquakes and meteorite showers that will sunder the mountains and the oceans. We're going to have plenty of flooding, plenty of earthquakes, plenty of volcanic activity. Why? Because of the sun. He notes that Samvartika will be the more devastating of the two, as it will be responsible for reducing the world. Many believe this Samvartika fire is less a comet and more of the solar flash, like the person in the first article. It's all over. Okay, now let's get to science because, science be praised. Just how anomalous was the weather in Washington this weekend? Almost 87,000 lightnings struck Washington state on Saturday. It's nearly 2/3 of the annual average. 2/3 of the normal amount of lightning strikes that happen in a year. 2/3 of the lightning strikes for a year happened in one storm. Could something weird be going on electromagnetically on our planet? Maybe. We've been seeing tons of the red sprites. The sort of stuff like the ball lightning where they're like, UFOs aren't real. You're ridiculous. That's just ball lightning. Oh, you mean incredibly rare electromagnetic phenomenon? Yeah. Well, that used to be crazy. And you say, no, it's UFOs. But now we got so much of this stuff happening. Huh. Okay. Now maybe you actually could use that excuse. And this sort of stuff, this crazy stuff we're seeing in the sky, it's been on petroglyphs for so long. And a lot of times you look at those petroglyphs and you're like, okay, it probably has to do with like aliens. Maybe that's UFO. But some of the stuff you look at and you're like, I have no idea what that's about. No idea. Oh, they're just representations of this crazy electromagnetic phenomenon that we're now starting to see more of. Wonder if they saw it in the past. Would they have maybe told us about it? Back to science. ELMs. They have this interesting little shape right here. Same sort of shape we're seeing in electromagnetic phenomenon in the sky. Also, it's very toroidal and such. You want to know what, and yeah, it's about plasma and stuff like that. Toroids, plasma, you get into that stuff, you're finally starting to understand how this place actually works. The electric universe people, they are definitely onto something. Then we got Jacob's Ladder, where we got all the angels and stuff. Jacob's Ladder. What? Ladder to heaven and stuff? That's so weird. That's so stupid. It's probably just a bunch of crazy Christians in their mythology. Yeah, except now we got what they called Steve. The name they came up for electromagnetic phenomenon. Was the first we'd ever seen. Super rare. Only appeared very briefly. Now they're appearing all over the place and staying for quite a while. So these auroras going farther south than they should. Eventually, we're going to be seeing these all over the place. Before the big solar flash or whatever happens, we're going to be seeing a ton of this stuff. Here we go. Yeah, and it's back in the day. You don't know what you're seeing. How do you describe it? You do your best. It has these rungs that kind of look like a ladder. So you call it a ladder. Yeah, let's get a better one. Jacob's Ladder. Oh, the ancients were so stupid, and they came up with all these myths, and they believed them all. They just made it up for funsies. No, maybe they were onto something. Maybe they tried to warn us. Yeah, Jacob's Ladders or Steve's Ladders, and there's plenty. Let's get another. Oh yeah, here we go. Picket fence aurora. You see that in the past, you're like, that's a sign from the gods, and it's a ladder. God's ladder. Just like so. They seem so stupid. They're so stupid. But then eventually we realize, oh wait, they knew more than we do. Maybe we are the stupid ones. And who's finally admitting to this sort of stuff? The stupidest of them all. Even CNN and mainstream media are finally having to talk about the solar minimum. Our sun has cycles. Sometimes it kind of goes quiet. Not so many sunspots, not so many flares. Times when that happens, we refer to as a solar minimum. We're going on a record amount of time without any action in the sun. People have been waiting for the next solar cycle to start. It hasn't. We got a solar minimum going on. They say they usually last about 11 years or so. Here's the thing. The people who believe in the mini ice age, David Dubine, Adapt 2030, check him out. I pretty much idolize him. Don't look up to soulless celebrities and athletes, and they're all a bunch of fucking commies and Satanists. Look up to people who are knowledgeable, like David Dubine, Adapt 2030, Mini Ice Age Conversations. Check him out. So how's CNN gonna spin this? The sun has experienced a less active phase called solar minimum, but it won't cause an ice age. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. CNN, I am so less worried now. So they pretty much explain solar minimum. In the next few decades, some solar scientists think that we could go into a grand solar minimum. Not grand as in big, grand as in that's the scientists who discovered that about every 400 years or so, we have a serious solar minimum. And it causes massive food shortages, so many problems. Civilizations always fall. Every time. And that's where we are now. Why did they do this whole COVID hoax? Why are we having all the riots and looting? Why are they killing off animals and burying food? Because they know the food shortages are coming and they want to control us. That's the reason for the beast system. They're going to go to the digital currency, the social credit score, all of that stuff. You're going to have the implanted microchip or microdots or whatever technology they decide to go with. It's all about this, the food shortages. And so they can control us and so they can cull us at the same time. And then once it's over, they come out and truly have their technocracy. It's all about the solar minimum. And our ancients knew about it. They warned us about it with petroglyphs. And now we're seeing the same sort of stuff in the skies that they did. Whether or not we're going to go into a new world and all that stuff, have a solar flash, I don't know. But weird electromagnetic stuff is happening and our ancestors warned us about it. Could we just have another destruction, another mass extinction event? We've had plenty, with humans included. And that's science says there's 6 or 7 mass extinctions on Earth. Hopefully it's something bigger. I'm optimistic. The last time this occurred was between 1650 and 1715, during what's known as the Little Ice Age. David would say more 1600s. It's about every 400 years or so, but like I said, cycles have a buffer. So we're in the era, we are due for another grand solar minimum at some point, either now or in the next 100 years. And David is saying this sort of stuff is going to be happening in 2024. He's been predicting it. It's already happening. It's moving even faster than the people who've been following it expected. All of us following the New World Order, all the New World Order stuff is happening even faster than we expected it to. Why? Because the solar minimum. But this solar minimum won't spark another ice age, they say. And that's likely due to what's going to save us? Climate change. Man-made climate change. So don't worry. The sun completely changing isn't going to affect us because we drive SUVs. No joke. Even if a grand solar minimum were to last a century, which that's the problem, is they don't exactly last 11 years. They last a bit longer. Global temperatures would continue to warm. They're getting colder. You fucking liars. Because more factors than just variations in the sun's output change global temperatures on Earth. It's the sun, and also the sun. The most dominant of those today being the warming coming from human-induced greenhouse gas emissions. Don't worry, the solar minimum's not going to affect us because you use hairspray. Thank God, CNN. I guess we shouldn't prepare for anything, even though all of the world's governments are preparing for something. They bought all of the storable food. Think that was just for like the COVID hoax? No, it's because they know what's coming. Like, one of the only places you can still get food, My Patriot Supply, it's like 8 to 12 weeks. When I ordered it when it was supposed to be 2 weeks, it took like 6 weeks. So we're talking 3 months to get some storable food because the government already bought all of it. And they bought all the night vision as well. They know what's coming. Will there be a new Earth that saves us from what they're planning for us? I hope so. Will that come through serious destruction? Will we have to experience that destruction? Some of us might. Pray more. So we got all this stuff happening. We should probably be paying attention to space and the sun and stuff, right? COVID-19 forces Earth's largest telescopes to close. More than 100 of Earth's largest telescopes are now closed, and astronomers are worried about the pandemic's long-term impacts on their field. So we got this important stuff happening in space. No one's allowed to be looking in space, and it's going to have long-term impacts. Remember when we stopped going to the moon? Was it because there was nothing there? No. It's because there was too much there, and we weren't allowed to know about it. Oh, we can't use the world's largest telescopes because of the COVID-19 hoax? No, because they might see the changes and actually warn us. The government has no intention of warning us or helping us. They are preparing to save themselves and only themselves. So, prepare food, water, learn how to grow food, and most importantly, learn how to pray. Because, oh Lord, we are not going to solve this peacefully. I've given up on that. Donald Trump had his chance. He failed us. Now we are going to have to hit rock bottom. Will we destroy ourselves in the process? I sure as heck hope not. How? How are we going to solve this? Good people getting informed and good people praying. What did they do right when they brought in their New World Order? Ban people from church. Prayer is powerful. Group prayer is world changing.